Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Hi Tim.
Hi Chris.
How are you?
I'm all right. So, like I was just saying before, I've been lying to myself about allergies for like the better part of 2 decades, and like
in what way
a little
are
sniffly, sneezing all day. It takes me about 4 hours to mow my lawn, which is what I did today. And I think all the cut grass kind of bothered me a little bit.
I told you, buy a couple of goats. Just let them mow the lawn. That's it.
The vultures that we have will eat those fuckers up.
Vultures aren't going to eat a goat unless it's dead. Don't kill the goat.
I saw my one of my dogs. I have it on video somewhere of him killing a groundhog, like snapping its neck and flipping it in the air.
What's crazy to me is that they caught him, because my slow ass dog, I don't know if the puppy is, he seems pretty fast, but he hasn't gone after anything yet. But my big dog chases and tries to get everything, but they always make him look stupid. He's very slow. So we've had altercations with groundhogs and with my other dogs. One time two of my dogs got into a fight with a groundhog in the back of my yard. My wife called me up freaking out. I was at work and the dogs had all scratches on them and shit. Like they went at it, and apparently everybody was okay, but they didn't snap its neck.
Yeah, like it's like and tossed it.
That's crazy.
I have a question for Mike Ruff. Like, I've seen a few people call Fitz Booze Face. Why do they call him that? Like, is he like notoriously?
Is that who he means, Booze Face? Do you have a mole in your backyard? What are they spying on you? They work for the neighbor.
Careful, Mike, with what you do for a living. You don't want that.
Why do they call him? So thanks, Mike, for that. We will be on Ace's show on Monday at 6:30, a live stream at Running with the Devils. You can find it on the YouTube channel. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I like Ace's show. I never got a chance to actually talk to him one-on-one. This is going to be fun. So we're really looking forward to it. So if you guys get a chance, hop on. I mean, he's got a heck of a bigger audience than us. So
yeah, I'd be surprised if we didn't have any overlap, but.
Oh, I totally expect his subscriptions to drop big time after the show does.
He went in a DMs with him. He was like, this is gonna be the angriest hater episode ever.
That's what I actually wanted to start with, because you were grumpy all day, Tim. You admittedly were not in a good mood. So hey, Dubs, welcome in. All right, so we're talking about. I know. We're going to get to all the trades and all the stuff that had happened today and all the potential shit and the news that's going on around New Jersey, especially Dougie Hamilton, which seems to be getting some legs now. But why were you so grumpy, Tim?
I don't know. Well, I didn't sleep very well. I had a very Andre Palat beer league game last night where I first line left wing. I was -3 and took a bad penalty. And I just woke up and had to mow my lawn, which takes me 4 hours to do because I have like about 9 acres of mowable grass.
And you don't own a goat.
And no goats. Do not have goats to take care of that for me.
Do you have a ride-on lawnmower?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it does about 25 miles an hour. It's a pretty outrageous lawnmower. Yeah.
It's like one crazy summer when they blow the engine off the boat and it's the Ferrari engine in there.
Hang on. I'll show you.
Hang on. What do you got? A picture of your ride-on mower?
Yeah.
Is that seriously what you're sharing?
I will show you a picture of the type of mower that I have. Hang on.
Okay. Ferrari.
No, it's called a Skag.
Oh, sounds fast. All right, so Dubs writes about. All right, hang on, I'll put that up. Everybody, this is Tim Wood's lawnmower. Ooh, that is a nice one.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, stop sharing. All right, so yes, it has been frustrating to see teams, pick up other guys, make trades for other guys, start, unloading their dead weight, unloading. Oh, there you go. Oh,
Yeah, it's working now.
right.
Trying to find one I like.
The things, that we've all seen. And we said it before. It's like we kind of generally understand what needs to happen for fit. And we've identified, the guys that need to go out. And, I am waffling on Dougie. I think it could be a mistake to move off for him, and I do have legitimate reasons why. But
You do.
if it makes our team better, then fine, I'm all for it. Like I don't think, and honestly, a lot of it is tied to Kovacevic's injury. Which, if that's a ligament injury, that puts his timeline and his return into February, March. And and what's he going to be like when he comes back? That's another thing. Like how many, these guys take a long time to get back from ligament injuries, to be able to trust that knee. So are we riding with Casey for 6 months? Are we going to bring in a stopgap, assuming Nemec takes that kind of right D spot, that Dougie roster spot that Dougie had? So I'm not entirely sold that that's the right thing. And I think we can kind of, now that we got off of Hollis money, I think Palat is definitely fucking out the door.
The only thing, okay, so I do want to touch on the Dougie thing, because all your points are absolutely valid, and they if they're not being thought of that way in Tom Fitzgerald's office this whole week, then he's not doing his job. Because you're right, the ligament. And now I haven't heard anything about Kovacevic's injury other than what you have said. So. All right, ligament damage, that could be bad. Who knows if he's even going to be back at all for the next season, which, we can go and piss and moan and berate Tom Fitzgerald for giving out that contract when it was just unnecessary to do at that moment in time. But what's done is done. As far as Hamilton, and I'll put this with pretty much any Devil player, and if anybody listens to this show, you kind of know where I stand on this. I don't fall in love with the name on the back of the jersey. I just don't. I mean, Marty Brodeur was traded from this team. Jason Arnott, Peter Sikora, Andy Green, Henry Zajac, guys that.
Andy Green. Did you throw Andy Green in there?
I did. I liked Andy Green. He was as solid as they come, and he was a good leader. And,
Palmieri, yeah.
Palmieri, I was never a huge Palmieri fan, but these are guys that the fan base loved, and they move. Okay. It's just what happens. It's part of it. I like Dougie, and he seems like a super awesome person, and I'd love to have a beer with him. He seems funny. He seems cool, but he gets $9 million a year. He is not healthy, has not stayed healthy. This is my issue. Now, trade him now. If you feel like, and now I don't know, is Seamus Casey the answer there? Can you bring Dumoulin in for another year? And just have him play a stopgap? Do you believe that, Nemec, you better believe that Nemec is ready to take that next step, because
I think he is, but I think to be a regular roster player,
it's time. It's time for Nemec to show.
And it's that Bill Belichick philosophy that we've talked about, where it's better to get rid of a guy a year before he declines than a year after he declines. I get it. And I think, it very well could potentially happen. That is the biggest chunk of money. But the other thing is like
they have. That's the other thing. Who else are they looking at? Because that is the biggest chip that you have right now. So
I mean, unless they keep Tucky and trade Nemec or Casey, in which case I'll just fucking blow my brains out. But so through February 28th, the end of February, right before Dougie got hurt, he was 12th in defenseman for scoring, which is what he does. People seem to think he had some down season. He did not have a down season. He was getting more assists than he was scoring goals. And that's what people were looking at. And a large part of that is because his shot was kind of de-emphasized on the power play. And basically,
was it de-emphasized because of the system, or was it de-emphasized because he just doesn't have it anymore because of that pec injury? Maybe he wasn't fully healed last year.
It was de-emphasized because of the system. It was a new power play coach that emphasized down low, 3-on-2, 2-on-1 mismatches. That's why Nason scored 22 goals, because he was the net front guy. Nason basically stole all of Dougie's power play goals.
That point shot is what sets those things up. And Dougie didn't have the rocket that he had last year.
Because he wasn't shooting. He was sending it to the flank that was then sending it down low to the bumper. And so it's just a different.
But the truth about Dougie Hamilton is, you're paying for the offense. Okay. You're not paying for the defense. And if the offense, if you feel that you can get that production from Luke Hughes, then maybe this is the time now to say, okay, I made these draft picks in Nemec and Hughes, and Hughes now with the Dobson contract, like Dubs even brought this up. Dobson just got 8 by 9.5. That's a lot of freaking money for Dobson, for Noah Dobson.
Dobson's a lot like Dougie, to be honest.
He's a lot like him. And so, but Luke Hughes now, or is that bring Luke's up to 9.5? Is this another, 9.5, 10? I mean, to me, 8.5 is the number for Luke. But again, it doesn't matter to me. You have to.
No, and sorry, go ahead. I interrupt.
No, I was just because we really have no idea what Tom Fitzgerald is thinking. Like, he comes out in the exit interview and says this team isn't going to look like it did last year. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that you're going to trade Mercer and Palat and Hamilton, and you're going to try and rebuild this team and keep the core in track, but get 6 or 7 new players? Does that mean, hey, I'm just going to move off Hala, bring the young kids up, and see how they do? And I mean, that's what like. Is he planning? Like, I saw Jason Roberts' name being brought up by Mike Ruff in the comments here. Is that something he's thinking? Is it Jared McCann he's thinking? Is it, I know Kyrou is off the board, but like, if that's a move, if you can get Jason Roberts and you have to move off a couple of our guys, like, again, I have no problem with that.
Hang on, let's look and see really quickly who had the worst power play. Who had the worst power play in the league? So Anaheim had the worst power play in the league, but they have Jackson Lacombe. The Islanders had the second worst power play in the league, and they just gave up their power play quarterback. We could trade him to the Islanders. The Flyers, the Bruins, I don't see working. Carolina would actually be a decent home for Dougie, to be perfectly honest. You let him cook on power play 1. They let Brent Burns walk, and basically let Gossesbeer and Slavin do the rest of the heavy lifting.
What about Utah?
Seattle had a bad power play.
But they have Montour in for power play 1, so they probably don't want Dougie.
That's kind of the balance, and this is sort of what I want to get to with the forwards also is, and this is why, yes, you're probably right that moving off of Dougie is the right thing. I'm still trying to defend him, and you can't have too many puck moving things, and it's about his contract. It's not necessarily about his play.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because if you give Luke 8.5 to 9, then suddenly you have 2 guys that are making that, and only one of them can be the first power play quarterback. I mean, let's face it, the second power play is like it's like the vice presidency. It's like a ceremonial bullshit position. It's like they get 30 seconds, at the end of a shift, and they barely get in the zone. It doesn't fucking mean anything. Like, Utah has Sergachev. Calgary's could be a destination. I think they're looking to trade Anderson.
Didn't he start in Calgary? Didn't Calgary draft him?
Yeah, Boston drafted him. So this would be Dougie's 15th. San Jose had a bad power play, and San Jose is the one place that I see that could take both of these guys, Palat and Hamilton. They need to spend like $15 million to even get back to the cap floor.
But what are you getting from San Jose?
I don't really give a shit, to be honest. Like, I don't think it really matters to get what it comes back. Maybe like I don't know. Let's look at.
Well, I mean, okay. So if that's the game plan, then if it's just okay, we took how much, $3 million off the books with Hala. Yeah, right? And now you could possibly take out another 13, 14 million with those 2 guys. Right. So you just freed yourself up maybe $17 million. And if that's what you want to do and you want to go play on Tuesday in free agency, now you have some money to do it.
Exactly. I still don't necessarily think we should dip our toes too deep into free agency. Like we're talking about getting rid of like two of our biggest UFA acquisitions over the past 5 years right now. So I feel like, that's always how it works. But, San Jose, like, I don't know. We take Toffoli back.
I would.
Yeah, Zetterman's not there.
No. Zetterlund would be the one guy I would want.
Yeah.
Celebrini? Maybe we get him?
Yeah. I heard he's okay. William Eklund. No, it's just, and that's the thing. It's like Shakir Mukmadulin, should we take him back? But, I think, we'd maybe get like a depth forward or something like that. But
I have a hard enough time pronouncing the guys on the team's names. And now you want to bring Mahaka Duladuli in again? I mean, no, I'm not doing it.
You just maybe
the Mekahini Ho is what I used to call him.
So, it's also, about efficiency and spending efficiency and where you spend all your money, like we're talking with the defenseman. And that's why I don't necessarily think we should be. It would be awesome if we got Jason Robertson. Don't get me wrong. But
31 teams are going to try and get Jason Robertson.
Yeah, same with Jordan Kyrou, if he is or isn't off the table. I've seen conflicting reports. Like those would be the two biggest names. And then probably, Ehlers in free agency, who's not a guy I don't think we should go after anymore.
Nope.
I originally thought we did after looking into him and then kind of thinking about it. It's like, we don't need any more guys like him. We need.
I like Jared McCann in that spot.
Oh, here's a guy we could get back for Palat or Dougie. Fucking Nico Sturm.
Okay, for third line.
For third, fourth line, just something,
Is he a center?
He's a center.
He's a center. Okay. Because I'm confused with, what we're doing on that bottom six. I really am right now because apparently it's Mercer and Cotter. Those are our third and fourth line centers right now. That's a huge mistake because I do want to touch on the Cody Glass thing because I find this. Who
did Sturm get traded to?
Oh, Sturm.
Did I miss that?
You must have.
I must have missed that.
Dubs for Life didn't miss that. But okay, so he's off the table.
Never mind that. Right. Oops.
But with the Cody Glass thing, like I'm kind of like three minds with the Cody Glass thing, and one of the places that my brain takes me is very disconcerting for the future. And it's like, okay, so did you bring Cody Glass in because you felt he's a good fit for that bottom six to maybe third center, fourth center? He's a UFA. We can re-sign him, maybe get him a little cheap, plug him in, good right-handed face-off guy, good player. No, Nico Sturm wasn't on.
Yeah,
Florida.
he was on Florida. You're right. He got traded.
Did he
Florida.
play?
He didn't play in the playoffs at all from whatever.
Oh, okay. So, but then, okay, so you brought him in, and then what happened? Did something change your plan? And you're like, okay, we're going to move off Cody Glass because I have a plan and something better. Or is it Cody Glass priced himself out at $2.5 million? Do you want to get somebody for $1 million less to beat up 4C? Maybe that's it. Was there something in his play you didn't like? Or one of the things that kind of does concern me is, were you shitting your pants on trade deadline day and knew that the Devil fan base was so fucking angry that you didn't do anything, that you panicked and went out and just made a fucking move for the sake of making a move and went out and got Cody Glass? Because if that's the case, that's fucking malpractice. And
wait. Who did he trade?
Oh, we got breaking news on the Uncle Puckers.
Breaking news. Mike Ruff, breaking news.
The New Jersey Devils have made a trade. Tim is going to announce it.
Is it a decent trade?
I don't know, Tim. Are you?
I'm trying to find it.
All right. I'm waiting for a listener to tell us.
It's all right.
You got it?
No, I have not. I don't see. Everybody just keep talking about Crosby potentially getting traded to Colorado.
That's where he would go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything that we made a move.
Yeah.
His left hand for his right hand. Okay, so Fitz was Mike Ruff was making a joke. Okay.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So we didn't do anything. Way to go, Mike.
We just wasted 10 minutes. Fucking block his ass.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. Dubs will be in here.
Exactly.
Totally derailed. Oh yeah, Cody Glass. Keep going.
No, I mean the Cody Glass thing. Like, if that was a panic move, that's disconcerting to me. that you are, not in control enough of your decision making and your front office to, if the fan base is ready to fucking go crazy, let them go crazy, because you know better for what this team is. And that's a GM I like. I like a GM that's aggressive. I like a GM that makes the moves that he really believes in. And I haven't seen that from Fitz. Trades, he seems to get taken advantage of. So that's another thing that makes me nervous, because we don't have a shitload of money. So free agency is probably not going to be that big, not like last year where we were signing guys left and right.
Well, I wouldn't say he gets taken advantage of in trades necessarily.
No?
What annoys the shit out of me is he keeps doing these favors, for people. I consider taking, sitting in the cuck chair and taking fucking money and, brokering deals, even though we got LeChance, who knows if he's actually going to play. I actually kind of like the kid, but like, when is he going to cash in one of these favors? He's a nice guy. I feel like he wants to be liked.
And I also feel that that's the kind of locker room that he wants. He wants this family kumbaya, and and that's why I don't think that he's going to move up with Dougie Hamilton, because I don't think he has the balls to do it. I think he's a guy that will be like, I can't trade him now. I mean, he just got married this weekend.
That's right. Yeah, he's getting married Saturday. He's getting married tomorrow.
Where you look at like WWE sent the release papers to CM Punk to his wedding chapel on his wedding day when he was getting married. That's how.
But I also kind of don't want the WWE, hey, we were run by a guy that was like a sex fiend weirdo.
Of course not. Stop. You're talking crazy. I'm saying there's got to be a middle fucking ground here where you
Secretary
can
of Education.
run your team with balls and do what you think is right.
Yeah.
And I feel go ahead.
Yeah, and it's, like we look at Florida and we look at Vegas and how they have been run, they're environmentally a little different. Florida's kicking the shit out of everybody, so everybody wants to go there now, and it's fucking palm trees and driving around in golf carts. Very good organization. Vegas is a destination. It's a beautiful place to live. It's pretty cheap, tax-free, all that nonsense, even though I don't think the taxes really play all that much of an issue into things.
It doesn't.
It's there's a lot more that goes into it. Like someone commented something about like the Charlie Coyle Miles Wood trade, and they're like, why wouldn't they want to come to New Jersey? It's like they got traded.
Right.
It's like they don't have a fucking say in where they go. And they're like, yes, they do. I was like, no, they don't. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, for instance,
and they wanted to go to Columbus. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, they're like, you could trade Dougie right now. Like tonight, you can. If you called him up right now and said, hey, Dallas is interested, we're thinking about making a move, and you're in a package, what do you say? You sign off on this? He says yes, he's gone. So in that sense, yes, they can dictate where they're going to be traded. Charlie Coyle, the third line center, and Miles Wood, a guy who is in the lineup sporadically, they don't have a fucking say. They go where the general manager sends his ass.
That reminds me, I got to change the location of my Facebook marketplace. I have a Miles Wood military appreciation jersey. Got to switch the location of it from Colorado to Columbus, Ohio now. Yeah.
So like Bill Zito, he's absolutely ruthless and he's fucking brilliant. And he has no problems just throwing caution to the wind because he believes in something. And it's all worked out for him. And,
that's it was a Kachuk cage, but it was also a trade. It was also Forsling. It's also hitting on Lundell. It's Luosterainen. Barkov being who he's turned into. It's trading for Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett wasn't really like he was thought pretty well of, but he's the whole mystique around that guy has totally changed over the last 2 years.
And a lot of that too is Paul Maurice and the system that he brought in, and the fact that he gets these guys who are bargain bin dudes. Some you talk about Forsling, a waiver wire pickup, and guys like that. They're other teams like Carolina thought of Forsling was a fucking bust, and he's first pairing defenseman on a defending Stanley Cup champion team right now. He's one of the best defensemen in the league. No, I was just going to say, like, when you bring these guys in and they completely overperform because they buy into everything, like it's like a fucking cult down there, and that's what you need to be a successful team.
And what kills me is like we were that for 3 months, and then what happened? Did someone fuck somebody's wife and like nobody want like what happened after over the years? Like we were like a mean team. We were like a good solid team. We are kicking the shit out of people. I don't know if the snowballs started rolling down the hill the wrong way, and we just couldn't pick it back up. But like we were there. We were there. And for some reason we just weren't anymore. And it's fucking weird, man.
After 2022, the 112-point season, we lost in the Game 5 second round against the Canes. And that night I came on the show. We did a show right after that final game. And I said, guys, you got to go out and get Connor Hellebuyck. Because that was the time before he was ready to sign. He had 1 year left on his contract. Everybody was leaving Winnipeg. Shifley wasn't signed yet. And it was just looked like a goddamn shit show. And then we started seeing a lot of talk that summer about going out and getting Connor Hellebuyck. If the Devils had made a move and brought Connor Hellebuyck in and just changed out that goaltender and kept Vitek Vanacek as his backup, playing, 15, 20 games a year with the fucking workload that Hellebuyck gets, I felt that team was set. I felt that you can win with that team. And he seemed to change everything, like, just the Severson, the Graves, and then the one thing that everybody was saying needed to get done didn't get done. That was the goaltending. That kind of set us back a whole fucking year. Yep. And now with getting rid of all our speed and our bottom six and just trying to bulk up the defense and overcorrecting that last year and taking care of the goaltending problem, which I have no problem with. People I saw bitching about not having a first round pick, and I'm just thinking I would take Jacob Markstrom over.
Honestly, I'd take my bigger issue with that is what's up, Jason?
Yeah. So,
it's what are we gonna do? We needed a good goalie. We got a solid goalie. Like, sorry we gave up the first. The guy I'm more pissed about losing now, like who's better than Dylan, is Kevin Ball. Like, I think Kevin Ball could be young, cost controlled, making less than Dylan. We could have had him for a longer term, but no, we had to go get the 33-year-old guy. Love Dylan, seems like a fun guy, and like he's a good competitor, but he kind of sucks at hockey.
all right, Dylan. I'm gonna just defend Dylan real quick. He brings an element to this team in this dressing room that Kevin Ball is not going to bring. And I think that's what was the calling card. It was when we talked about it before that move, like, who is that leader on that blue line? Who is the guy that is just going to fucking make sure that blue line that those guys know what they're doing, that he can lay into them if he has to, he can be the ear, they have the experience. That's the kind of guy that's what Dylan was brought in for. It wasn't for his outstanding play. It was for his leadership, his just being a steady competitor every single night, guy that'll go to war for you, to teach these guys not just how to win, but how to be a team. And I think that's a big thing that Dylan was brought in for. I will defend him on that.
And that's honestly, that's another kind of issue, I think, in the sort of Dougie conversation is Dougie doesn't seem to have that kind of competitiveness in him.
He's not a leader.
He's quiet. He's soft spoken. I wouldn't exactly call him soft, but he doesn't use his size as well as he probably could.
Neither did Kevin Ball.
But Kevin Ball had it in him. I think Dougie just doesn't have it in him.
No, you can still end up seeing it from Kevin. You got a finished product with that.
Yeah, like Kevin Ball's entire Ottawa 67's mixtape is like him just beating the fucking shit out of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looked pretty good. Like I don't know. That's what I woke up grumpy about this morning.
I was bummed when we got rid of Kevin Ball. I was bummed when we got rid of him. Yeah, I like Kevin Ball a lot.
You got to give the get. We needed a goalie, and we got a goalie. So anyway, we can move on. And the whole Hellebuyck thing. Honestly, I thought he was personally there was a lot of smoke around him, but I thought he was never really available. I think that was just a lot of the media connecting the dots and like, this guy's a contract coming up. These
Didn't
guys need
he
a
come
goalie.
out and say that he would come to Jersey? I'm pretty sure that he had come, or maybe that was Markstrom before the trade was
definitely
made.
said that.
Maybe I'm just getting them mixed up.
Before like the original trade. I don't think Hellebuck ever said anything. But then look what happened to him in the playoffs. You know,
Sure.
like,
well,
this
is before all that. This is just seeing a guy who's one of the best regular season goalies and going, the Devils need it. But
you're right. It's about how that the pendulum swung so far from like we were to finesse. We were. We needed to grit up a little bit, and we just overcorrected way too much, lost all that speed. But, there's so much that goes into it too, in terms of, Keith's systems, which are a lot more defensive. Ruff's system was an attack system. And I said this a few times throughout the course of the year. One of the more frustrating things that I see is not pushing the puck forward. They're pushing it back. They're regrouping in the neutral zone. The D, they'll and it's a legitimate good way to break out, but they'll reverse the puck D to D behind the net to kind of take the pressure off. But then they'll sit on it. And then we don't have good enough defensemen with the puck right now. And this is another reason why another reason in the keep Dougie column is we don't have. Don't look at me like that. We don't have. Okay. We don't have very many defensemen. We have 2 defensemen that can move the puck. Dylan handles it like a fucking hand grenade. Like, Siegenthaler's okay. Kovacevic, not that great with the puck. But like, what they'll do is they'd fire.
Pesci can get the puck out. Luke can get the puck out. Nemec can get the puck out. Casey, when he's on the ice, can get the puck out.
But one of the plays that they would run basically is the guy would sit behind the net for way too fucking long. They wouldn't push any pace. The other team would be able to get into a trap, basically in the neutral zone. Yeah. Then they just fire it to the far blue line for like a little tip dump in. But on a tip dump in, where the guy on the boards tips it, the guy in the center has to be circling in with speed to go forecheck. And that guy, we didn't have enough speed to go forecheck properly. And then you're sending this guy like fucking Bastion in there who would go to throw a hit and would miss the guy by like a fucking mile and a half. And now I'm angry again.
Well, and you also have to keep in mind too, like, we cannot, this is 2 years in a row with fucking brutal injuries. We cannot have another freaking year with the injuries like this.
Yeah, and look, like, yes. Okay, fine. You talk me into moving off of Dougie because he's going to get hurt again. It's going to piss me off.
Well, that's it. I mean, now, is he going to give back the over $9 million that he made when these 120 games he didn't play? Like, no, he's not giving that back.
Why can't it be like the NFL where it's just like, fucking cut his ass?
Or in professional wrestling, where if you're out injured and you have a contract, they make you make that time up when you're healthy.
Do they really?
No, they do. So, your contract could be over, but you were out for 6 months. You're wrestling for another 6 months. But again, that's the other thing. It's a big risk that this guy's going to stay healthy for 82 games. Right. If you were to tell me right now, guarantee that Dougie Hamilton was going to stay healthy and get back to his, more like his form in 2022, I would not move off of him. I just don't trust that that's going to happen.
That's fair. It's a calculated gamble to keep him, and it's a calculated gamble to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And you just need to put your stake in the ground one way or another.
I mean, do you think that Fitz? I mean, and this is another thing. Like, Fitz has made some moves that have backfired in the last couple of years and made him look really shitty. Is that something that now he's going to hesitate? Right? Because getting rid of Graves and Severson together and plugging them in with Luke Hughes and Shimon Nemec, that was not a good idea, especially when Dougie goes down with an injury and all the other stuff, and now you're sitting around holding your dick in your hand. I wonder if that just makes him more tentative to do certain things. I don't know. I have no idea what makes this guy tick. When a general manager is out there and he says, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what depth is, that makes me wonder, did we really have the fucking right guy for the job here? Oh, it's an eyebrow that came down for a drink, Jay, just in case you were wondering.
The wife likes it. So anyway, on to problem number 2, Andre Palat. So the Devils posted a pretty interesting picture today that all the internet sleuths figured out. It was of their draft room, even though I don't know why they have a draft room, because we have like 2 second rounders that we should be trading for fucking help. But behind it was Nico Heischer's, or the Devil Sweater with a C, Devil Sweater with an A, Devil Sweater with an A, and it was Luke, Jack, Nico, Brat. Brat and Jack had the A's on them, which means that an alternate captain from last season was not featured. Now, it could be one of two things. It could be that they're featuring our marketing for, or that Palat has been de-emphasized in any sort of public way because he's on his way out. So I'm hoping it's the latter.
Brat didn't have the A last year.
He had it a couple times. Like I think when Jack went down. I think when Jack went down, Brad had it. Yeah.
But that was. But when it was like the season started, when those guys are all healthy, it was Palat and Jack, right?
Jack, yes. So that's what I think the internet sleuths saw. So the thing about Palat is he has $1 million bonus coming, I think, on July 1st, and that's when his no trade clause loosens up. And the way his contract was structured, even though it was a $6 million AAV, it was largely front loaded, so he's gotten the bulk of his money, like his actual salary to be paid out is a lot less than like the 12 million or whatever he's owed over 2 years for an AAV. So that's also really attractive for teams because they trade for that, even though they get the 6 million AAV, this actual salary that they have to pay him is a lot less. So once that $1 million bonus gets paid, I think they can move him. And I think you're only allowed to be like 10% over the cap during the summer. Even though the other issue going on right now is like, where the fuck is Luke's extension?
Yeah,
like, why is that taking so long?
That's an excellent question. That is an excellent fucking question.
Yeah, because, and Jason, that's the thing. It's like, it's Vegas, Colorado, Dallas, even Florida. Florida just signed Reinhardt to an 8x8. So, what are they going to do? And they're probably going to keep Marchand. So is Evan Rodriguez, is that guy going to be available? He's an interesting guy as a cap casualty.
I like Evan Rodriguez.
I take a hard look at him. He can ride with the top six. He doesn't need power play time. And that's another thing I've been thinking about in the same kind of structure as.
I'm sorry. I just had a really funny thought, and it was. I can't say it though. I'll tell you later.
Yes, you can.
I was going to say, Evan Rodriguez, maybe him, Chico, and Gomez can like open up a taco stand or something at the concourse. That's all.
There's a guy on Devil's Twitter that he was pushing 40 and would DM some of the younger Devils female fans with some very inappropriate things and got blown up. I know we don't do very well with some of the some of our public Devils fans, like that one fucking little scumbag. But yeah, so Colorado moved Coyle and Wood, but they're also trading for Crosby apparently. So that's going to take up that money. But
I like Evan Rodriguez.
I do too. He can ride in the top six. He doesn't need power play one time. So this is kind of what I was getting at. Like, everybody's like, I want Jason Robertson, and I want Nick Ehlers, and I want a JJ Peterka. And like these guys that need to be on your first power play, like our first power play is set unless we're moving Brad, which, if it makes our team better, fine. Unless Timo gets back on it. Like that's been our whole issue with Timo's production is he's not getting power play one time. So his production is suffering. Every single one of those guys I just mentioned, almost 30% of their points come from the power play.
Yeah.
So, so it's difficult to find a guy that can ride in a top six role. Like if you look at like the 6 leading scorers on every single team, bueno, J. Blanco.
It's for the fucking mustache comment, Jay.
Actually, Chris, you look kind of Mexican.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, see.
If I actually grow a beard, I look very Muslim. I look very Arabic. Yeah.
You might want to avoid doing that these days. You get yanked off the street and send a Sika.
Guantanamo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the alligator Guantanamo. So we have to be careful with the type of guy that we add. I think we are better served as opposed to $8-9 million to like a Robo or Kyrou or an Ehlers to spread that with like 2 to 3 $3 to $5 million guys that are fucking dogs that can play on power play too, maybe get a goal here or there, but can put up 20 plus goals at 5-on-5, because that was our biggest issue.
This might sound insane, but I believe this. I would take on Jack's wing Evan Rodriguez over Robo 10 times out of 10. That's the kind of guy you need on Jack's wing. You don't need another Jack. I understand Robo plays a little bit different. He's more of a shooter, and I get that. But I'm saying the smaller statue, like you just said, like you need dogs. That's what this team needs.
We need dogs.
Look at Florida.
But good
Florida's
ones,
4 lines of fucking dogs. And
we need good
ones.
Like
if you can get a guy from fucking Florida, you get him. You know, he's bringing the right work ethic. He's bringing all the shit that this locker room doesn't have right now. Evan Rodriguez is a fucking good call, Tim.
That's that's the thing. It's like if they're re-signing Ekblad and trying to bring Marchand back and Bennett, they're gonna need.
They signed Bennett today.
Yes, and Bennett. Yeah. So they're gonna need to cap dump someone, and that's the guy. Like he's a younger, a little bit bigger. I think he's bigger than Plot. I think he's a decent size. He's got decent size, and that's the kind of guy that we need. If we pick like McCann would be the only kind of big name guy, but he's only making $5 million, which is what I like about him.
Yep. I'll take McCann in that spot over Robo too. And it's for the same reasons. Like those guys are dogs. And come playoff time, they're gonna do all the dirty work. They're gonna do everything that's needed. And that's the kind of guy I'd like to have playing with Jack.
Like Lazar, he is a dog, but he fucking sucks at hockey. We need like dogs that are good at hockey. And I hate the fact that I keep saying the word dog. I think it's one of the corniest terms out there.
I know. I kind of cringed when I said it before.
I know,
too.
but it's like there's honestly there's no other like kind of descriptive way to say it. I don't know. Evander Kane, I think he's a little too fucked up for me. Like
I told
besides, I think our proximity to casinos is a little much for him.
That's true. He has a quick drive to every casino around. But I would have taken a shot on him too. I would have taken a flyer on him.
He's a pretty garbage human too. I think he had a pretty. We also didn't need like psycho ex-wife drama either. I think he also pulled a gun on one of his ex-girlfriends. So
this is also like something. That's why Vancouver, like I said this to you, you had the most fucked up dressing room in the NHL last year, and now you bring Evander Kane in. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Kane. Look, if he would have been on his best behavior, healthy too. Like he's been hurt a lot. He could have a big year. He put him next to Pedersen. See what happens.
Oh my God, that's going to be great. He'll beat the shit out of Pedersen right on the ice.
Basically.
The comment's gone now, but Mike Ruff did just say Tuesday might be the day, boys. He's 100% right. Tuesday is going to be the day. If anything happens, if nothing happens Tuesday, we got the same fucking team again, and that's it. Tuesday's the day.
Wait, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, so Tuesday's the first, right?
Yeah, Tuesday's the first.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like Fitz could have all this shit in the hopper that can't happen until the first. Like that's the thing.
Absolutely.
People wonder about. Like he may pick up a couple guys tomorrow with second rounds and fourth round picks. He does do pretty well with like fucking around at the draft. Like, got rid of Marino. We got Yegorov for that. Like that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And the kids, like you said, and Mike Ruff just said the Canucks are fucked. And that's something that Tim, you and I were texting earlier, and I even said that. I said, that team is so fucked up. Now's the time you go after Quinn. Like we were talking about possible trades. And like, get him the fuck out of there, man. Get him here. Yeah, but again, before we're going to have a lot to talk about, but I do want to hit before we finish up the collective bargaining stuff. Because that's a pretty big deal. And I'm so happy that, it's like, we talk about like a locker room of kumbaya. I love when the Players Association and owners are in kumbaya mode, because the 2006 lockout, I think it was 2005 lockout, whatever, that season that was gone, I stopped watching hockey for a good decade to 12 years because of that work stoppage. And I'm so happy that we're not going to have one of those, because
that was tough to come back from.
Yeah,
as a fan, like that, just the mistrust I had for a while, and two of them too.
you had the one, the 95, the 06, 05, whatever. And there was one in between there. I don't remember which one. And I'm pretty sure there was, because I remember saying to my wife, if they seriously cancel,
5
maybe. And I said, if they cancel this season, I will never watch a fucking hockey game again. I didn't know. I'm going to tell you something. I didn't know in 2012 that we were in the finals. That's how fucking disassociated I was with it. And that's when I got back into it. When I was like, wait, we're in the finals again? Wait, and this whole part of my life, which was a huge
Peter Griffin just coming out of the bush, like Devil's jersey. Like, I've been here the whole time.
A huge part of my life that I just stopped. I just cut it off. Now, granted, my daughter was born, my son was born a few years later, so I had that to, of course, keep my mind occupied. But when I got right back in like 2012, I watched the final, and then I think I got back in around right when we drafted Heischer. That's when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give this new regime a try. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the collective bargaining agreement. You have the terms there?
Yeah. I mean, it's, there's some nuance in here. And I guess the first one is we're going to an 80. This is starting 26-27. So there's nothing really to do.
So next season's regular.
Yeah. And I think the prevailing discourse about it was that this is sort of a peacetime labor negotiation because the league's healthy. It's a good shape. Coming up with 4 nations. They're going to be in the Olympics. They have a World Cup. Everybody's kind of happy with where the league is. Revenues are through the roof. They're probably going to add a team in Atlanta, it sounds like, which I know people are up in arms about. But so I guess they're 84-game regular season. So
I've been to a Thrasher game in Atlanta.
All right. So 84-game regular seasons. They're tacking on 2 more regular seasons, but they're shortening the preseason to 4 games.
Okay, I like that a lot.
And veterans with over 100 games played can only play 2 preseason games. So there's actually capping the veteran.
Okay,
I think we may see some sloppiness at the beginning of the year if there aren't a lot of preseason games, but the Devils have had such a condensed schedule, and with the World Cup and the Olympics and the 4 Nations or the 4 Nations World Cup probably the World Cup's probably going to replace the 4 Nations. Like, it's going to be a pretty dense schedule, and I don't know if that puts the Stanley Cup into fucking July.
No, because they're starting the season earlier. They're going to start the season, I think, the 3rd week of September, and they're looking for the Stanley Cup final to be done by the 1st week of June.
Yes, that is the way it should be. That's good. I did not
that's
see
what
that.
They're doing.
So they changed the maximum player contract lengths. 8 years, or they went from 8 years to 7 for retaining a guy or re-signing, and then 7 to 6 years for a free agent. So still incentivizing someone to stay with the team, but just knocked a year off it. I'm neither here nor there. I'm neither here nor there on that.
It gives guys an extra year to try and, less of a year to kind of get back into the market, maybe get another contract.
Yeah, I think the timelines. Yeah, I think the timelines for guys are a little weird because, like, if you are a guy that's going to sign an 8-year deal, kind of gives you one opportunity to really kind of cash in on a big contract, because before you're on an ELC, then you get an 8-year deal, and then you're on the kind of tail end of your career and you're hanging on. So, so that's good. The playoff salary cap system, closing the LTIR loophole. Don't know what
I like that.
The specifics of that are going to be, but I like that they're actually addressing that.
The specifics are that if you have a guy go out, you can use that money to go out and get another player. But even if that guy comes back healthy, when you go into game 83 for the playoffs, you have to be cap compliant. 85. Right.
I don't know
if to be cap compliant. So,
I don't think I saw that it's going to be the same cap. Like
no, it is the same cap. It is. So let's say, for instance,
I didn't see the specific on that.
So, like, if Jack Hughes goes out, and I'm just
I get the
right. So now Jack's healthy again, but we have another player that $8 million we used for another player, one of those guys or some other group of guys or however have to go out. You have to get back down to the cap. So
yeah,
you can't.
I'm not
You
sure.
can't
I
put
totally.
a team.
I like that they're addressing it. I'm just not sure it should be the same hard cap.
Oh,
And
I
didn't
agree.
read.
I think it does. I think it should.
I didn't read anywhere that it was.
Yeah.
Because like, what are they going to like if? Okay, so we trade for Jason Robertson because Jack Hughes gets hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the playoffs. So we have to take 2 $4 million guys out, and instead of Jason Robertson or Jack Hughes.
However it works,
yeah,
you have to get down to the hard cap. So you can't.
I guess that kind of penalizes rich teams. Like, we haven't used all of our LTIR space for 2 years, so that it should benefit us until Jack Hughes gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but I kind of like that because you can, if your team has money and they're willing to spend it, you have a competitive advantage. Especially like you look at a team like I look at Vegas because they've done it all the time. Like a guy like Mark Stone, who's at the end of his career. Like, who's to say that you don't call him into the GM's office and say, "We're going to put you on LTIR, take a break. We'll get you back for the playoffs. You're nursing some fucking hamstring or whatever."
Yeah,
and he goes and sits home and then come back to the playoffs and they got themselves Mark Stone and Mark Stone Part 2. That's not cool.
I mean, I get it. I get the philosophy behind it. I just feel like in practice, if someone, like Florida this year, they were able to get Marchand because of LTIR.
Yeah.
And, I just don't know. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. Once it becomes in practice, we'll see how it works. So this is an interesting one. It kind of levels the playing field because there used to be differences in signing rights and how long you kept a guy if they were in college or in the CHL. I think signing rights expired earlier in the CHL than they did for college guys. So now it's just 22. You turn 22 and that's it. So that's good. And now that there's going to be CHL guys can come play in college, it kind of levels that playing field because, it also, because there's going to be a gray area of like, well, this guy was in the CHL when he got drafted, but then went to college. What does that do? So kind of says 22, that's it. Your signing rights expire.
Okay.
Deferred salaries banned. Couple of those deals took place on the Shohei Ohtani stuff, but that's no more. They're doubling the playoff bonus pool, which is nice for the players. This is a fun one. I don't know how they're going to execute this, but there's going to be full-time e-bugs that are
I like
for
that
the
one.
teams. I always kind of like the mystique of like I thought it should be one guy for like every team, but he stays in that arena. So like
that's how usually it is. There's only one e-bug in the building that can play for either
this
team.
e-bug I think is going to like travel with the team.
Yes, it's going to be part of the team. Basically a third goalie.
Third goalie, for a low amount of
on the roster. But I don't think that their salary goes towards the cap.
No,
they get paid.
I think that's So theoretically, we could sign Jake Allen for $5 million, call him our e-bug, and it wouldn't count towards the cap.
That's true.
But then he would never play. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. Anyway, and the last
in the knee.
Yeah, it is fucking Tanya Harding. The last funny one is the no team mandatory dress code.
Okay.
Yeah, Lou Lamoriello is just
he got out right at the right time.
That can't be a coincidence. That lose out of the league and suddenly there's no more dress code.
It does kind of seem, I don't know if he has that much power, but maybe like Gary Bettman's just like, hey, guys, I don't want to hear from fucking Lou. Just keep the goddamn keep the fucking the dress code in.
Lou's calling me like, did you see the fucking suit that Patrick Lane was wearing?
I mean, go back to like the national sports media, right? Colin Cowherd, like Cowherd. People listen to this dude, right? He is a, national fucking sports dude that people go to for their information. But if you're a player and you wear your hat backwards, he just is done with you. He's you don't have the respect. You don't have any of that. because he's wearing his hat backwards. So maybe him and Lou should like get together, come up with their own league where nobody has mustaches and everybody, wears a suit and tie all the time.
Go move in with Clint Eastwood and just yell at all the little Asian kids in the neighborhood.
The Islanders, Mike Gross asking about how they did in the draft. Tim and I were talking about it before. I think they killed it.
Chris was at work and I was actually watching it. It was pulling teeth to watch. It was fucking awful. It was just, I don't know. And I don't know if this is coming from like the Sphere, which was awesome. Like that was really fucking cool. But, everybody's like, oh, weaker draft. There are going to be all kinds of trades. Like, only there's like one trade, maybe two in the first round. And the way they did it, the decentralized thing where they had like some people were remote and some people were coming in and announcing the picks, like celebrities or famous people. It's just like every pick took so fucking long and it just took so long. But I don't know. It was fine. Kind of went. I think the way people went. I think Hagens fell a little bit further than people had thought. He fell to the Bruins, which I think that was the one cool thing that the cool one that they did was it's still on. It's still on. It's fucking 11 o'clock at night. It started at 7.
I mean, I was listening to it on XM, and a lot of the guys, all of them basically, and they said it many times, like this is the last year that this thing's going to be decentralized like this, like that. Nobody likes it. None of the teams like it. Gary Bettman doesn't like it, and there are a lot of owners that push for this or GMs that push for this that are having buyer's remorse, and I think this is it. You're never going to see this again.
Well, the funniest, like Gary Bettman in the beginning, like. He almost like acted like he invented like Zoom calls. He's like this internet is fantastic. I love this.
Oh, God.
It's just like this is remarkable. We have these guys. You can see them, but they're not here. I don't get it. And then like the Bruins pick was cool because his little sponsorship tie-in probably because the Happy Gilmore movie's coming out, but Adam Sandler dresses Happy Gilmore in his Bruins jersey, announced the James Hagens pick. Nice. But then they like brought them into this little antechamber with like the Wizard of Oz up on the fucking screen. It's like Mike Greer, like, hello.
Oh, God.
and it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? And then like Don Sweeney and the Bruins, like it's like they had it muted. They're like, and they were like, we can't hear you. And they're like, oh, cool. This is funny. But one of the funnier picks, this kid, Brady Martin, who got picked by Nashville. He's like he's such a Trotz pick, a little fucking necklace edgelord. He didn't go. He was picked, I think they were 6th or 7th. No, I think they were 6th. He's like a feisty player, he's sort of the next Sam Bennett, everybody's saying. Yeah. But he didn't go, and they showed a video of him, and he's fucking, because he's a farmer, lives on a farm. I was like, hell yeah, farmers. But he's fucking in his barn with like pigs and cows and shit, like shooting pucks. It's pretty funny.
All right.
So, draft is a mess. Kevin's still going on. They're not doing the second round today, are they?
No, that's tomorrow. Which I guess starts in an hour, maybe.
Yeah, right. Like, it's like, are they going to do these concurrently? Like, what the fuck are they doing?
I don't know. But all right, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
This was fun, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and check out Ace's show, Running with the Devils, Monday at 6:30, right, Tim?
Monday at 6:30. Chris and I will be joining Ace on his channel. Hopefully, something will have happened by then because. Be a lot of sitting around otherwise.
And if anything big does happen tomorrow or Sunday before that, we will be on talking about it. So do a little quick emergency episode. Yeah. So
and then Tuesday night after that, we get a lot of us. We'll come back on sort of after. Hopefully something will happen by then, and we'll have a good idea. We'll either be like, holy shit, Fitz, you do something like that, and totally
scoundrel, you
totally redeem yourself.
And we'll be talking about winning the cup. Bigfoot sighting in Newark. Exactly. That's what we need. Some Bigfoot sightings in Newark. All right, boys. We're going to bounce. Thanks for checking us out. Hit the subscribe button, download, all the other fun stuff. And that's about it. You guys have yourselves a great night. Stay safe. And we will be seeing you guys a lot this week.
Yeah. Except for you, Valcat. You can go fuck yourself. Don't stay safe.
Poor Valcat.
Fuck him.
Yeah, he's stuck watching Ranger games every night.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Is my taco place